right, now we've got to talk about another facet of your life, which is your singing career.
Yes.
When did you kind of decide, okay,
Well,
gonna do that?
I went to acting classes in Vancouver, and I had one of the coaches say to me, you know what, Kiara, you're a good actress, but you need help on your voice. Oh,
thank you.
I'm going to take singing lessons.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'd always been a huge singer. I loved singing in the shower like everybody and singing alone, but God forbid I had to sing with, So I got into the studio, started working on it. Got told that, hey, you have something going there. You get a little technique going and you can hold your voice. You've got a nice voice.
You didn't know before that?
Well, I we all think we're great singers, but you don't,
Well,
we don't, I can sing, I put it this way, I'm very good at copying other singers and how they sing.
Okay.
So for a long time I could sing, but I didn't have my own voice. I had somebody else's voice. So I worked through that, and I found enough people, and I got some funding, and I lucked into a tour in Europe with Atomic Kittens.
I read about that, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, you say you lucked into it.
Yeah.
Was it luck, really?
Well, I mean, I had a manager at the time who could manage me, put me on to some other managers who had a relationship with the management of them, and I got on pretty quick with that.
Right.
So that was nice. And I just continued, I was really scared to sing in front of people, so I went to karaoke, and I remember...
You went to karaoke? Like in just the bars around town?
I went to the bars, right. I go to the karaoke because I was terrified to sing in front of people, and I would get up, and I'd kind of snooze in between when my number was called or my name was called. I'd get up there, and I'd sing a song continually. I'd do this all the time until I got over my fear of singing in front of people.
Wow. Well, what was it like the first couple of times? I mean,
I was really embarrassing because I had some friends with me one time, and I went up and I sang, and it was kind of some of my peers and everything, and I just remember trying to sing, but it's hard when you try to practice with singing like somebody else, but you get up there and you only hear your voice and you get distracted, and it was always been a hard, my road to where I am today is always, I've worked very, very hard for it. I just don't, it's not, I mean, I do have some natural talent, but everybody has natural talent, I believe, and I believe that if you're passionate about it, you can grow it into something that is amazing.
I think that's that sporty girl, athletic kind of, I do, I believe that's that philosophy again, is if you want something, you work, you're capable of it, work hard, you'll get it.
Right, and the more people tell me I can't do it, the more I say, oh yeah?
Well, I love that too. Yeah, just watch me.
Yeah, you watch me. I'll do it. Do you think I can't be an actress and a singer? Oh yeah, you watch me.
And write a comic book?
Yeah, well, they don't even know about the comic book yet. That's been put under wraps for many years.
Okay, so the touring in the UK, 22 cities.
Yeah.
Like, how big were the audiences you were singing in front of?
2,000 to 3,000.
That's pretty big.
Yeah. It was my first time. I remember clearly. The audience had these whistles and those little round,
thingamajobbers.
Yeah, whatever. And it was black. And I had two dancers, male dancers, that were doing hip hop kind of stuff with me.
And did you choreograph for them?
I didn't choreograph. Actually, I had a choreographer from London that the management knew, and we had a great choreographed routine. It was 5 songs. So it was like a 20-minute show, and I just remember getting up on the stage and having them scream and whistle to the point where I couldn't even hear the music.
Oh wow! But it's a pretty rowdy audience.
Yeah, they were like younger, because Atomic Kitten was kind of like Spice Girls, so we're looking at young girls to maybe 18, 19. So it was a lot of screaming.
Okay.
Yeah, very high energy, lots of fun. I get off there and I wouldn't need a Red Bull or anything. We do a little Red Bull before we went on. But afterwards, after every show, as it progressed, I got asked for autographs, and I'd have like swarms of people around me. It was such a great opportunity for me to become a singer by touring and having all this acclaim.
Now you do have an album.
I do.
Tell us about it.
It's called We Can Play. It was produced by Ian Prince and Chin and Jetty. Ian Prince worked with many artists. He was a Grammy Award-winning producer. Chin also has been nominated for Junos and all the rest of it. So I worked with some really great talent. I wrote they wrote the choruses and I wrote the rest, because I said, okay, if I'm going to pay you the big bucks, then at least you got to do is give me the hook.
Yeah.
Give me the one where people want to do it. So it got played on Canadian radio quite a bit.
Right.
I was very pleased. Everything was going really well, and then I ran out of money.
So you're still at that stage where...
Well, I never signed with a major. I never got tied into a group or so-say or anything like the whole...
But there are some artists who do that on purpose, or who have signed with major labels and then have,
so
been released and prefer the independent route.
I never was like that, because I've tried to give my management and this and all these different stylists, and I've hired all these people. I do the best job myself. I do a better job myself than having to hire out all these people and do it. So I kind of feel that I can get the job done better than a label can in regards to my craft. Now, the business aspect, yes, I believe they could have done a better job and they could have financed me. But again, in the end, I end up having to pay them back my life anyway, because you're tied into them for 6 albums or 6 years or whatever comes first.
Yeah.
And I just, you know what, I just thought, I got so much other going on. I don't want to be tied to one thing.
Right.
So to do it independently is the best way to do it. I am talking to some really great producers right now that I'm working with. One is going to be, it's going to be an underground trance kind of electronica sound, and I might be going under a white label just to test out the sound before I get into some more aspects of that.
Right.
And then the other one is I'm working with a kind of a rock producer to do an Evanescence kind of song for the Hunter Girl theme song, because I'm putting together a 1-minute teaser production of Hunter Girl so that it will be on the website, and also at Comic-Con I'll have the flat screen with the music and the trailer going through, as well as the comic book, and of course I'm going to be dressed in a costume. And
of course.
Thing. Yeah.
Now, you made a music video.
Yes.
And I read that the reason that you had said, somebody quoted you, that your strength is in your looks, so you thought the music video was pretty important.
Well, you know what happened was I had been told by, some really good friends of mine in the business that, hey, Kiara, use your looks, use your looks.
Well, why not?
I was under management at that video time. They wanted it to be more, dancing and all the rest of it. At that point, I had no choice but to go along with what was going along. I found the video great, but it didn't really focus on me. I had never learned any of the dance routines. They wanted just the dancers to do it, all the rest of it. I don't like to put blame on anybody, but I truly believe that video could have been a lot better. It could have.
Okay, so let's talk about, I want to go back to this strong female character role, because it seems that you are that person in every thing that you take on.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if there's somebody that you've kind of fashioned yourself after. Is there somebody in your world that you particularly admire because, or that you'd kind of...
A role model? Yeah. It's funny. I've never really had a role model, to be honest with you. I've always emanated people of certain talent in certain areas that I look up to, musically, actors.
Okay, so musically who?
Some of the ones, I truly think that Christina Aguilera is becoming this amazing entity. I think Mariah Carey is amazing. I look up to, same with acting, there's so many, Kate Blanchetts and all the different ones. There's a little aspect of all of them, because I find that any artist that gets out there to me is successful, and to me is like a role model because they're living the dream. So, I couldn't tell you specifically that I adore one or that I look up to any of them, because I never give away my power that way. I realize the power is within myself. I don't need it from anybody else. If anything, I like to empower other people to speak their own truth and realize their own power within themselves, not with other people.
Good for you. And thank you very much for sitting down with us today. It's been really interesting.
Thank you for having me.